Did you know a single book written over 1,400 years ago continues to influence billions of lives today, shaping laws, science, philosophy, and even the way entire civilizations evolved? That book is the Quran. But what makes it so unique? How did words revealed in the deserts of Arabia spread so far and change so much, from empires to everyday life? And most importantly, why does it still matter just as much now as it did centuries ago? Stick with me, because by the end, you'll see why the Quran truly changed everything. Before we dive into how the Quran reshaped history and continues to influence our world today, let's set the stage. In the 7th century, Arabia was a region divided by tribes, with little global significance. There was no centralized government, no dominant empire, and very few written records. Then, seemingly out of nowhere, a revelation began. Words were cited, memorized, and later written down as the Quran. Within just a few generations, these words spread far beyond Arabia, fueling empires, inspiring scholars, and transforming cultures. But this isn't just about religion. It's about how an idea can shift the course of human history. To understand why the Quran changed everything, we first need to look at the world it entered and how those words began to ripple across it. As the Quran's message spread beyond the deserts of Arabia, something remarkable happened. Entire societies began to change. Tribes once locked in endless cycles of rivalry started to unite under a shared vision. Ideas about justice, charity, knowledge, and equality were no longer confined to a few leaders. They became principles that shaped everyday life. The Quran inspired the rapid growth of a new civilization, one that pushed the boundaries of science, mathematics, philosophy, and art. From hospitals and libraries to breakthroughs in astronomy and medicine, its influence reached far beyond religion, touching every corner of intellectual and cultural life. But this transformation wasn't without conflict. Empires clashed, ideologies collided, and the world had to grapple with a force that was redefining power, identity, and meaning itself. And here's where the story gets even more fascinating. How did words recited in a small corner of Arabia become the blueprint for advances that would eventually ripple across Europe, Asia, and beyond? And why does that legacy still spark debates, curiosity, and devotion today? Let's uncover the turning points that made the Quran a force unlike any other. And this is where the Quran's impact reaches its most powerful point. What began as recitations in a small, tribal society didn't just unite a people. It set in motion one of history's greatest transformations. Within a century, a civilization stretched from Spain to India, carrying with it a new framework for law, ethics, and knowledge. The Quran challenged the old order. It pushed back against social hierarchies, called for the protection of orphans and the poor, and placed learning as a sacred duty. These ideas weren't locked in dusty manuscripts. They became the fuel for scholars who translated, preserved, and expanded human knowledge at a scale the world had never seen. Think about it. Without this chain reaction, the Renaissance in Europe may have looked very different, if it happened at all. Medicine, mathematics, literature, philosophy, entire disciplines were shaped by the legacy of this book. The Quran didn't just change the world of its time, it created ripple effects that we still feel today. And here's the real turning point. Was this purely historical, or is it still shaping the way we live, think, and argue about the future right now?